Yo, what's up, y'all? We are here today. We are about 10 minutes late, but it's okay because I got my boys with me. I got Assemble. Going ahead and let them know where they can find you, my boy.
Hi, it's Matt. Hi, I'm good. Thanks. Thanks, guys, for having me. YouTube.com/assemble show. It's the weekend. I'm excited. We get to hang out. We're going to talk a little bit about wrestling. And I will have some questions. We could talk maybe about The Rock's 21-minute promo.
Oh, yeah,
I got to know,
definitely...
Kenny. I got to know your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
For sure, yes, sir. Kenny, let them know where they can find you, my boy.
What's going on, everybody? Kenny Bomb is in the building. Y'all can find me. Just search Kenny Bomb on YouTube or KennyBomb.com. We'll take you right there, and y'all see everything we got going on. But what's up, fellas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we are 3 days away from the release of WWE 2K24, and it has been a journey, hasn't it, guys?
It's been a bit of a journey, right?
Yes.
A fun one, though. Fun one.
Yes, it has. So we are 3 days away, and I think now with it being Saturday and there being no news about my faction, I think that's the big elephant in the room here. I think right now we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to see what's going on. Why are they not talking about this mode, especially after the past 2 years with the negative perception it has gotten with not being to unlock characters outside of that mode and it being basically put behind the grind wall or paywall, whatever you want to call it. So, Matt.
Hi.
Can I have your thoughts on my faction news right now?
No, you can't. I don't want to talk about it. No. So I will preface by saying, just like everybody else, I have zero idea about my faction. I've been sitting here like you, and I've been like, okay, are they going to do a press release? Are they going to do a ringside report? Are they going to do anything to give us any information on this? Through the tea leaves of what we all know publicly, Lionel Jinks in an interview, what was this, 2 months ago, I think, initially said he teased and hinted at there's going to be good things coming to my faction, or stay tuned because it might make players happy. That was the extent of what he said. And by the stuff that's leaked online in the last 2 days, we've all seen things like the the Cody Rhodes Mattel action figure being playable.
Yes.
We've seen the entrances there too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a my faction locker code that you can use day one, and I guess you can download and play Mattel Cody Rhodes. John Cena was also listed in there too. We've seen that entrance, so they're both in the game. I'm hoping that they come around in the next day and they're like, here's your my faction trailer, what's new, how we're doing this. The word is, from everything we've seen, is that they're going to have the option to buy characters models and make them playable in the game. And there's the online shop, right? Like where I can actually go in and buy player market, and I could buy a card. I don't have to just buy packs now. So for me, guys, I am very intrigued about my faction this year. I'm not big into the gambling stuff and collecting cards, period. Mm-hmm. Even now, for what the mode is, it doesn't speak to me as a player. However, I like the idea of doing a mode where I could grind out a couple hours a day, get enough currency, and buy Big Papa Pump. And maybe it takes me a week, but I get him, he's mine, and I can play. And if I get the entrance, the theme song, all the details, and I can grind it out technically for free, I think it's a huge win. What about you?
Yeah. So, personally, me, I'm thinking with my faction, I don't know why they holding up on it, but if it is as good as they say it is, I think it's going to be a good one. If you guys noticed yesterday, there was a locker code for WWE 2K23 that basically is a locker code promoting 2K24. It says that all Persona cards will be unlocked throughout every mode. So they have confirmed that through official 2K word, but we still haven't gotten that ringside report or anything like that, basically giving us more news and letting us know, okay, what's this mode going to be about? Because this game comes out on Tuesday. For some, might come out on Monday. But that's just the way that, that it is right now. But Kenny, let me know, man, what's going on?
So it sounds like they fixed my faction this year. It seems like the big issue was all of the models being locked behind that mode. And, I never got in there and I never even tried it out. But after talking with Matt on his show, and he let me know that it was kind of like a towers thing where you're grinding it out, trying to unlock these different things. Being that you could take them out of that mode this year, I am interested in trying it. Because I am a person who plays for more of the single player content. I get in there, play My Rise, play like the what's the showcase mode,
Showcase
and
mode.
really that's it for me because I don't have anybody else to play with. So I think My Rise is something that would keep not My Rise, that too, but I think
My faction.
the My Faction is something that would keep me in the game longer if they let me down, like they get those extra Triple H models and things like that, because I want to jump on there with you guys and actually show them off. So I think My Rise does have, I keep saying My Rise, that it broke my heart, y'all. It broke my heart. I think My
We'll talk
Faction
about it.
does have potential. So I'm excited to see what they show about it. And as long as I don't got to spend a lot of, real life money, then I think it could be a lot of fun. So we'll see.
I must agree. Now, the question that I do have, with some of these cards being unlocked throughout all the modes, do you guys think that we will get their respective theme song and entrance, or do you think that it would be a lot? Because, in their defense, being that they're going to give us cards that are unlocked, I don't know if they're going to give us entrances and all that. I don't know what effects that does on the game and being unlocked across all modes, even though I would love it. But just being realistic with, my expectations. Matt, do you have any thoughts on that?
I have theories. And I just looking on Twitter now as I have it open. Joe Mashups posted Sheamus 2009 is in my faction.
Huh.
I don't know what the source is or anything. He's just posting that. So, and because we've seen like GameStop leaks, people are clicking stuff. That as an example, Sheamus 2009. If Sheamus 09, for example, were to be a downloadable My Faction model, I think they would just give you current day theme song and Trons, and you'd get the model itself would be the retro one, or like Triple H 98. Maybe he would get like My Time theme song, but the look would be of trips from that era. And then the motion and the entrance, I think, would all be the standard, the current one in game. So
Right.
I feel they would do that. Guys like Scott Steiner, like Big Papa Pump, they have the call name already in the game. I think they have that motion too. I'm not sure, but
They
like
might.
that's an example of kind of like a whole new character. I don't know. They might do both ways, right? What if I speculated them like, well, I could totally see based on the DLC dates that they do like Tori Wilson as a My Faction model scanner, have her ready to go. They put they do the whole shebang, but it's going to cost you like 10, 12 bucks in real dollars. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I kind of feel like they're going to do just like, here's the current entrances and themes, but you get the old model.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the easy way to go about it. But you know what? If you can get me Kane with that slow chemical theme, I'm in there. Even if it takes me 2 weeks to get him, I'm going to do everything I can to get through there and get him.
Yeah.
So I hope so.
I agree. That if it did have its own entrance theme and everything like that with the entrance, I think that would be really awesome, and I think that would even make me want to play it more. If it means that I'm gonna go on ahead and get that. So that would be an interesting way to look at it. I hope My Faction is good this year. The player market is something I am looking forward to. You don't have to gamble anymore for cards. Basically, you can just go on there and buy the card if you have enough.
Brian,
currency.
you came from over from NBA world,
Yeah.
and NBA 2K, and how that's gone. How, because I only dabble with NBA 2K every year. Like I'll get it for free on Game Pass, and that's the extent of me. But I never play in the marketplace or anything. Do they have people like give me comments or whatever, and they say like, oh, NBA 2K does that. Like, what is it over there? Because you can kind of see, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
over there
be able
it's
to
bad.
Read and see.
Over there it's bad. It's like
I hear bad things.
Yeah, I'm not sugarcoating. It's bad to the point where they're doing 100 overall cards, and the only way that you can acquire those 100 overall cards is if you're it's a special insert in a pack. You cannot buy it out of the player market, and there's no auction house because it was taken away just this year. So whatever card, so you have to really just, if you really want that card badly enough, you can just keep pulling with your money and get it. Hopefully it doesn't get to that extent in My Faction, but just to give you guys insight, I don't know if you guys know who Troyden is, but Troyden, he is a YouTuber that has over 1 million subs, but he spent it was like $2,000 or $3,000, and he didn't pull the special insert.
Ooh, boy.
So that just kind of gives you an insight on
it's
how
all
rare.
packs, Brian. Like,
right.
It's all packs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jeez.
So he spent $2,000-$3,000 and you weren't able to tell. So that's what scares me with My Faction. And I know that right now, for the most part, for the past 2 years, it's been a heavy amount of grinding to get the card, or you can spend the money if you want to. But the cards have been there, the content has been there if you grind and play the game. But it does scare me that it gets to that point at some point. And hopefully this year is not the year, because this is the year you want to kind of get people on board with the
Yeah.
news of saying, oh, you can do this, you can do that, before you throw the heavy news 2 years down the line. So that's just my, opinion on that. I really hope my faction doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, because that could really drive people away from it altogether. The last NBA 2K game I played was the one with LeBron on the cover with his arms up. Was that 14?
That was 2K14, my boy.
But I suck at the NBA games, but I like to play them. I like to go through the story mode. But I was in there buying the what do they call it, VC, to try to level my basketball player up to actually be able to win. And I was like, you know what? I am spending too much money in here. I'm done with this. So I haven't played one since, just because of that. So if my faction gets me in there and I actually like it, but they're causing me to spend too much money, I'll never touch it again, even if they fix it.
Kenny, it's an interesting thing though with those shops, like an NBA versus WWE, because where you said earlier, you're like, man, if I can get Slow Chemical, Kane, get that model, get that entrance, the theme, I'm down. I'll grind it. I'll do it. I think that there's just such a difference between who the customer is, who the player is, because wrestling is so personal. It's characters. I went nuts when I saw stuff posted that Austin's 2001 theme is in there.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm so happy. I love that. And if that was a my faction thing, I'd be like, yeah, I'm grinding that out. I'm grinding. I want it, or I'll just buy it. But I think because there's just a different incentive for the wrestling fan to be like, I don't need a Charlotte Flair 2018, or I don't need a Sheamus 2009, but they got Kane in there. Oh, I'm going in and I'm grinding for that thing. I'm gonna have, and I think then that creates it might help with making the process better or more fun. That you would be in there being like, I'm cool grinding this. I'll grind this for a week and I'll get Kane.
Yeah,
because I got a goal, and then you feel like you really got something. Versus maybe Brian, then versus the basketball side of things, where you're like, cool, I got LeBron. He's got all these crazy stats. This is fun, but it's different, right? They're different genres. That's all. That's my point. It's like they're just different things.
Yeah, I do agree, because I do feel that, like, going back to the NBA 2K side, like, that side is humongous compared to the wrestling community and where we are. So, like, the thought of them going that route with my faction kind of scares me, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if these guys could, like, not afford to do it, but more like, I don't think they would want to do it, because our community is already smaller as it is from the NBA 2K side. So you definitely don't want to push away people from the mode. So I think that's something that we do have to look out for and see how they treat the Persona cards. One thing I did like is that they're basically giving Mattel John Cena away for free with the locker code. So everybody will have Mattel John Cena, and I think that's a good start. You're giving everybody this. I don't have to go fishing for Walmart for an action figure like I had to last year. So I think this is a good thing. So those are just my 2 cents. Any last 2 cents you guys have on the mode?
No, I just really hope it's good this year, because again, it gives you something to do all year if they're adding new stuff into it. So I think it could be a big W.
Do agree. So Kenny's mode, my rise. Okay, Kenny. So I'm gonna let you go first on this one, man. Let us know, what are your pros, what are your cons, what is really throwing you off with my rise.
So the pros, the stories sound really good. I like the whole Roman Reigns relinquishing his title and coming back thing. I don't know too much about it, because I didn't want it to be spoiled, so I didn't watch all the 40-minute videos, but that's pretty much what I got from it. I don't know what's going on with the women's story. It seems like, I don't know, it's like some superhero stuff going on, or I don't know if she's a movie, whatever. Don't spoil it for me. I'll figure it out once we get in there. So the stories are very interesting, and I'm excited to get in there and play them, but the problem is I don't know if I'll be able to get through them. When they announced the My Rise and we saw the gameplay, I checked out like little chunks of it, and I came in our chat and told you guys, like, oh, they took out the extra phone stuff or whatever. I said, okay, I'm excited. I'm not watching nothing else on these videos. And Brian hit me back a few hours later and said, yo, I think it's still in. The first video I clicked on after that, scrolled through a little bit, and I saw them on the social media with the 3 guys in the back that you turn your body towards to pick out what you're going to do. And that's the one thing I didn't want to see come back. So it looks like it's just really pull it from 2K23, put it in 2K24, and add a new story. And I wasn't able to get through it the last few years. I just hope I'm able to get through it this year, because It's tough, man. The stuff in between the match is really rough to get through, man. So I don't know. I just hate that they kept it the same.
Matt, give me your thoughts.
So for the 2K event, I had the opportunity. I could play My Rise. I actually didn't. Kind of like Kenny though. I was there and I'm like, okay, what do I want to capture? And for me, it was like I didn't do much showcase, and I did not touch My Rise, and it was because I'm like, I want to play it this year. I want to give it a real shot of playing it all the way through. I've tried. I had crashes last year, and it pissed me off. So this year, I was like, I'm not going to go and do the first whatever amount. I want to go in just clean and experience it. So from what we saw for the trailer they revealed in the ringside report, I'm with Kenny. Based on the last couple of years, I'm not a fan of like social media, talk to this person. It's slow. It's a delay. Like if you're gonna do that stuff, that has to be like instant. But it feel like it's like click left, and then I'm waiting, and then it goes, "Hi, Miz,"
Yeah.
and then it's like, okay, now interact. He's talking about nothing,
Nothing.
and I'm right back, and then I'm just like, get to the story pieces. So
Yeah.
I'm totally with Kenny. I hope the
Yeah.
in between is fun and not just grinding out to just get to the next event or the next match. So I'm hopeful though. The story sounds like a lot of fun. I think they got a really creative story. I met the developer, or excuse me, the writer for My Rise on the women's story side. Very, very nice and exciting to hear that, they're it looks like they're being more creative with it
Yeah.
for the storyline. So I'm totally in. I want to give it a shot. I'm going to do everything this year. Yeah, I think the Roman Reigns piece is interesting. How they're doing that story arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I must agree. I like the realism of it. I like how they're basically touching a little bit of the real side of um the WWE. One thing that I disliked the previous years, or maybe it was last, like you had to play against these legends and fight them, and it had
Yeah,
like no point to the story. I'm like, why
just
am
the
I
side
doing
mission
this?
thing. Fight a
Yeah,
legend. You're like,
it was just
why?
annoying. Like, why am I fighting Hulk Hogan back in the '80s? Like, the story has nothing to do with
Cancel
this.
Christmas.
It was
You're supposed
just,
to
yeah,
run back.
I wasn't a fan of that. So I hope that they leave that completely untouched, because that alone like got me out of My Rise, and I just didn't want to play anymore. This year, it does look better. I like the story so far, what it looks like. So I am looking forward to play My Rise, and I like playing My Rise, or wanting to, because that's another 15, 20 hours that you get out of
Yeah,
the game and everything. So it's a big chunk of the game. So I am looking forward to that. But yeah, the cons, I'm with you guys. I hate the fact that we have to basically we have three people to talk to, and you got to just pick who you want to talk to. I think they can still get away with that in the next year's iteration, but you have to let us roam backstage, and then let us form our own conversations and branch our
Yeah.
own storylines, if that was the thing. I think walking around backstage would definitely give it a new look.
Right. But Kiro, he brought up a good point when we talked about this on the podcast. He
Mm-hmm.
said that would get boring and kind of tedious, like it did previously, because they tried to do that before, and what they did didn't work. So you don't have to open it up really like you did, because all of the arenas looked the same, and it was pretty much the same thing every week when you were running around backstage. But, just like they got those three wrestlers just standing in that same locker room or whatever, I think they could kind of open it up by, after you get to the match, you go to the gorilla position or whatever, and they say, yo, Triple H wants you in his office. So you just run back
yeah,
to his office, see what he wants to do. But on the way there, to get to that next part of the story, you can have just different pieces or different wrestlers or whatever just planted around the arena that you can go interact with. That's a lot better than just seeing them 1, 2, 3, now go do the match, or read your phone to get 8, 10 messages you don't care about. There's a better way you can do it.
I
I
agree.
agree.
There's definitely that is the free roam piece that I feel is missing to My Rise. If you just swap that out, Kenny, of yeah, let me go to backstage room, go to one office, an open parking lot like we used to have.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be crazy. It is just
Hmm.
literally like just four rooms, four quadrants, and let me
Yes.
just walk in there, and every time you load the next section of the game, maybe there's two NPCs to interact with, hanging in the parking lot, do a side mission or not, and move on. And the other thing
Perfect.
though, guys, like you saw the press release for it, and I have it here. I'm really intrigued with the unlockables and how they're doing this, because there's
Hmm.
80 in total, which probably means 40 and 40. But 80 unlocks, including arenas, paybacks, the entrances, the My Faction cards, championship belts, which would probably be like the My Rise specific belts that they have.
Yeah.
The My Faction cards included in there, I find very number one. I think having 80 rewards in total is awesome. That's a lot of value for you to go
Yeah.
through. Like for me, who's like, I might have skipped it or not played all the way through, but there's enough reward in there. The My Faction piece is interesting because is it just going to be the cards for the NPCs in the game? What is it going to look like? But what I find interesting about that being included is, to me, that's a direction they could take the game next year and the year after, which is why not do universe mode and have different rewards that are not only achievements, but also you really want to pump up my faction. Give me a reward where I finish a whole season of universe mode and I get a pack and I get a WrestleMania card pack or something. And that's one goal. Or like you ran successfully four rivalries over the course of whatever, how many months and stuff like that. Like you do different things. Or, oh, you had 20 Extreme Rules matches over this thing. So instead of achievements, integrate card packs, right? Because that would
Yeah.
drive people to
Yeah.
the store. So I think it's interesting, at least, that they're including My Faction card packs in My Rise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I was surprised because people really want to unlock the NPCs in My Rise. People have been hitting me up on X about, hey, you think we'll be able to unlock these wrestlers in the game? But people want it, so I wouldn't mind if they made that available.
Yeah, I do agree. I remember last year, we had like I forgot the names of them, honestly, but it was basically the NPCs in My Rise, and people really, really wanted those in the game. And just before I continue, quick shout out to Jeremy for the super chats. He says hello to everybody, and
What's
then
up, Jeremy?
he also
Hello.
said 2K12 was the best so far. I have to disagree. My boy 2K14 is the best so far. But I back to that. I think the unlockables is a good thing, and I think it's a way to get everybody uh kind of meshing the My Rise base into My Faction. I think it's a way to make the mode bigger, in my opinion. I think that's the right thing you do. I know in NBA 2K, basically they have your character. You can go into my team and create your created character in my team, and you can use them in my team as well. I don't know if they did away with that, but when I used to play, that was what they used to do. So maybe they are going something like this where you can create your own character and unlock him in My Faction. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
There's it's on Twitter. I'm not hunting. It's like literally like someone tagged me in it, but like people have gotten the game and they're going through it. And I
Yeah.
honestly, I've been like shut down Twitter all weekend as much. I've been checking
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, me
trying.
too.
guys,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm gone because I just want to
Yep.
enjoy the game.
Right.
But like this got tagged, and it's the John Cena card for that model, and then the Sheamus that I said from Joe Mashups. Someone posted it again, and they're like, "Yeah, I beat something, and then I got Sheamus." They said
Yeah.
I unlocked Sheamus through my faction, then I got him in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see the people spoiling it in the chat. I saw that too.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
people.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I feel bad. Honestly, I feel bad that it's all out there now
Yeah.
because GameStop did something weird. But that is exciting. If that is happening,
Hmm.
I'm very interested in that. That I could just have look, and I get to look in 3 months and go, dude, look at my roster.
Yeah.
Like, look how stacked this is. Or I can do
Yep.
Ruthless Aggression era or Attitude era, or I can do the crappy 08, 09 years of WWE. But
Yeah, I think that is actually a good thing. And once again, Jeremy, thank you for the super chat. But I do think that this is a great move for them, allowing us to unlock, whether it's certain, which I have a feeling it's going to be certain. But I think this is going to be cool if persona cards mean like alternate attires or maybe a different gimmick of what they used to have. I think that would be the way you go. So I'm excited to see how that looks. Let me see here. And Matt, I do have a question for you
why?
because you were
No,
there. Yeah.
I was
So,
nowhere. I'm a 2K shill.
I
Idiot.
actually I saw you yesterday at SmackDown, buddy, with a chair in your hand.
Did not. You didn't see nothing. Did you? No.
But there in the press release for 2K24, they talked about the referee creation suite, and I saw nobody post about this. By any chance, did you see it?
There's no referee creation suite. It's within Create a Superstar.
Gotcha.
So what happens is I actually put this on my stream yesterday because it was like one thing I didn't mention in my previews. So go in and I'm like, okay, I got Triple H, and I go into edit Triple H, and you've got the regular look of his entrance attire, in-ring attire. And at the very bottom, there is the little thing that just shows up and says, do you want to toggle between his render? No, portrait. It was portrait and manager and ref. And you can toggle between those, and then a little icon shows up for like a guy in a suit for the manager attire, one with the WWE logo, which is the referee, and then his in-ring. So you can toggle between them, and it's just through regular create a superstar, and then go in from there. Because the create a referee, like you guys saw, you can either by default, if it's Triple H in the game, you can be the ref as Triple H in ring gear, or the default referee shirt that everyone gets, or go into creation and tweak it yourself and give them just like a Triple H shirt with like the sweatpants and do it how you want. Give HBK Kenny, give him the bicycle shorts and the HBK sleeveless thing. That was a look where it's too low.
Yeah.
It's covering his giblets. So you could do all of that, and it's just in creation suite. I totally thought beforehand, like you guys, I'm like, oh, are they gonna have like create a superstar, create a referee? It's not. It's just in the main menu of creations for superstars.
Okay, yeah, because when they said create a referee, I thought I was going to be able to get in there and get a Earl Hebner and put him in as my referee for my show. Like that was my...
You can, right?
Well, you could create a referee. You could take your caw.
But can I make him
creation?
Can I make him the actual referee for a show in like universe mode? Or do I have to always do special guest referee
special
match?
Guest referee match.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You got 7 real life WWE referees. You have the other models that they've used for the previous years, so you end up with, I don't even know now, like 17 ref.
Yeah,
10
there's a
plus
lot of
ref
referees
options.
in there.
So you got authentic refs, the makeshift refs from all the years, and then you'd have to do a special guest referee match where you have your creation of Aubrey Edwards or Mike Chioda.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you got to give a shout out to them for that too, because previously, like in 2K23, they had the same ref that looked like Angelo Dawkins, but it's actually it's a big boost to see the real refs in the ring in the gameplay this year. So that's a big plus.
I do agree. It's a lot of authenticity in the game now. The game feels more real, especially with just some of the gameplay additions. The 3 ring announcers. I think that's awesome. Matt has. I seen Matt tweet about this like 2 or 3 times, saying how like real and just the game, it gives it a better feel. Like Samantha, she's a great ring announcer. It's dope having her in the game. And I was looking at the gameplay and just seeing her announce. They even got her Chelsea Green announcement.
Yeah,
so
announcer too.
Oh, I did not see that.
She goes Gunther. I did a casket match with Gunther just to see it, and yeah, she does it.
Oh, so yeah, so it's just it's really cool seeing that. And talking about gameplay additions, what is the gameplay addition that you're looking forward to the most in WWE 2K24, Matt?
Reversing Irish whips.
Really?
I don't know. Honestly, that is kind of one of them. When I was playing
dope.
and had hands on, I forgot. I swear that the devs said that in an interview that we read, where that was a new thing. Totally forgot about it, and was doing a match of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and I Irish whipped Seth into the turnbuckle, and he reversed me halfway through, and I went, what?
Yeah.
And then I kept playing, and I got a few more minutes in, and he grabbed me and threw me, and I just hit reverse. It didn't even pop up for a prompt. I just hit it as I timed it, and it happened to do it, and I flipped him back, and then I was able to give him like a back body drop, and I went, that is beautiful, because that adds realism, real simulation. You're supposed to reverse Irish whips. It makes it makes such a difference for such a tiny thing. Otherwise in gameplay, it is very much the quality of life, and what I mean is, it is the ring announcer options. It is Irish whips. It is the new match types and what the depth is with those. Blood, having different levels of blood that you can crack somebody in the head open with and get blood dripping on the mat. You know, it's just these little things. Some stuff you're like, that should have been there last year.
Yeah.
But the fact is that they're in there. Yeah, those are probably for a gameplay perspective. It's the increase in blood, referee, authentic referees, the ring announcers being assigned to each brand, and having their full like voice and pitch and everything. It's not generic sounding. They all, because like Alicia Taylor has her own authentic take on ring announcing, and yeah, those are mine. What about you guys?
Kenny, go ahead. And before we go ahead, Jeremy, I appreciate the fourth super chat, my boy, here
Woo!
today. $5. They need to rebuild the game. 2K24 is the same boring game with a few new features. Based on what I'm seeing, the game look a little bit better than just boring, but everybody has their own opinion. Kenny, go ahead and let me know.
I agree with a lot of what Matt said. For one, the blood thing. For whatever reason, I love to get in there and make people bleed when I'm playing these wrestling games. And this time, it looks like it's not the same every time. Like you can cut their eyebrow, you can cut their nose, maybe punch them and bust their lip. I don't know, but the blood flow is different. It actually stains the mat. So I think that's a big addition. Another thing is the special guest referee. I was excited about all of these match types when we heard about the game. A little bit less excited about the casket and ambulance match now, but the special guest referee, it seems like they really went all out with that one, and that's going to be a lot of fun to play with on the channel. It's a lot of live things you can do with content with that, with tournaments. I wish it had crossplay, but that would open it up a lot more. But I mean, what we got, I think, with the special guest referee is a good first step because we know it's only 1 versus 1, but this is a question I wanted to ask you, Matt. So you can have managers in a special guest referee match, right?
Yeah, you can have
Can
all
a
three.
third player play the manager?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Well, yeah, because if you have multi people with controllers, yeah,
Okay,
I would just flip over and be Paul Heyman, right?
good. So you can get more than 2 people in there or 3
Yeah,
people in
like I
there
didn't
playing.
test
So
it because it was just I was sitting there with solo playing.
yeah,
But I assigned a match and I had special referee and Roman had three managers.
yeah.
So
So that does.
yeah,
So the manager adds a whole nother aspect to the game. So
yeah,
I'm probably most excited about the special guest referee match when it comes to match types because we've already spoke about those casket and ambulance matches, and if you want to talk about them now, we definitely
Oh
can.
yeah,
But
we are. We are.
yeah,
But
that's the most exciting thing.
But yeah, I think for me, man, and I don't know how much it triggers. Matt might have a better answer than me at this, but that little mini game where you're punching each other, and you got to time it.
oh yeah,
I think that is
forgot about that.
awesome personally. Like I really like the realism that comes with that. Cause you see that happen in certain matches in real life where they start punching each other because it's like a desperation thing. And I like the effects that it does. Like if you win, you gain enough for a signature or a finisher. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And for me personally, like that's probably one of the features that I'm most looking forward to actually seeing trigger in game. Like when I'm playing a match, I want to see that. And second for me is the blood features. I'm really excited about seeing the blood in the game and seeing the blood drip on the mat. Like I think that's gonna be pretty cool. But before we go on ahead and move on, Jay, I appreciate that 4.99 super chat. Do you think refs will evolve into them having different personalities, skills? Like some refs will be more lenient, or see rope breaks better than others? Go ahead, Matt.
Jay. So Jay, the one thing to note, and this has probably been, it has been noted and stuff out there. Currently, if you go into a match and you play as Judgment Day, as the example, and it's Damian Priest versus whatever, Chad Gable, Dom is the ref. If they are the AI, and let's just say it's all AI, Dominic will favor Damian Priest. He will. It's like the Royal Rumble match last year, where if tag team partners entered the Rumble, they would team up together and they'd be more allies. They did the exact same thing with special referee. So if you are part of a faction or allies, you're gonna be favoring each other more. The AI will do it. That adds a layer to it. You can break up rope breaks and all of that. The prompts are all there. I just wanted to look at Jay's. What did he ask? What else did he ask about it? Was it like
Yeah, I
rope
got
breaks
you.
and
Yeah,
stuff?
he said different personality and skills. Like some ref will be more
I
lenient.
see. Maybe in the next game or something, but I do know
Yeah.
that the ally piece is in there day one, which is really cool.
For sure. Okay, and Matt, this is probably another question more for you than myself. Get the ring announcers. Are the ring announcers locked to their specific shows? Can you assign the ring announcer to a custom show?
The ring and Birdland, the ring announcers are all three are locked to their respective show. So Alicia does NXT, any NXT and PLE for NXT. Samantha does all of Raw. Mike Rome does all of SmackDown. Did I get that right? Those are the brands. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're correct.
you got it.
For PLEs, some people, and I saw this online, people were like, "Oh, Mike Rome does all the PLEs." No, he does not. Because I did Money in the Bank and Samantha did the announcing. It depends on the PLE. I actually did reach out to get clarification, and they said stay tuned. So I may not get a real answer yet. They're busy. But the Samantha and Mike Rome will alternate on the pay-per-view. They're assigned to specific pay-per-views, and you can't switch it up. You cannot go in and be like, I'm doing WrestleMania and I want Alicia Taylor to do the ring announce. It's not an option. They are all assigned dedicated, and they have already been pre-assigned to specific shows for what they will announce for pay-per-views. When it comes to custom matches, I actually did reach out to the devs. I wanted that answer. I said, what if I do a Retro Raw's War or anything, a Galaxy Arena? Who's the ring announcer? I don't know. And they said we'd actually have to get back to you to clarify too. So my guess with guys with custom match types, we'll know on Tuesday. Custom arenas, my guess is one of them is going to be the default. My guess would be Mike Rome is like your default for customs. Maybe it could be totally wrong. And it might trigger differently based on like maybe like you create an arena, Kenny, and it's you make the crowd SmackDown arena. I don't know. Maybe that will trigger Mike Rome to be the announcer. I have zero idea. So, but we do know they are locked to their shows.
I wonder why we can't pick them for custom shows. I mean, they're announcing the same names, so
I went through and I created an arena, and then I went through and like processed it for the show, and all the show details are identical to last year. So there's no option that you can pick your ref, but you can't pick your ring announcer this year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, Red Eye Obsolete, I do appreciate the super chat, and everybody else who super chatted, I do appreciate it. We're going to talk about the DLC in just a moment. And BT Baggin, I appreciate the super chat. What's the reason we can't get 5+ people matches in my GM? I'll be honest, bro. I think we're being held back by the last generation consoles, and that's the reason why. I think once they do away with it, that'll be something that will be introduced into the game. But that's just my personal opinion. I got no clue. So, guys, so we have 4 new match types this year, which are the Gauntlet, Casket, Ambulance, and Special Referee match. This is a crazy one this year. So I wasn't expecting 4 matches. I was maybe expecting 2, and maybe even one, which was the special ref match. So, this is an interesting one. How do you guys feel about the match types? And what is your favorite match type? Personally, me, my favorite match type is special ref, but the one that just shocked me the most was the Gauntlet match. I didn't think it was going to be that good or it looked that fun as it did watching other players' content. Now, Kenny, go on ahead and let me know, what match type are you looking forward the most? What impressed you the most? What you don't think, or what was least disappointing of the matches, or what was more disappointing of the matches? Sorry.
Well, I'm an Undertaker guy, so my favorite match out of these new matches we have is the casket match. But the match I'm most impressed with this year is the special guest referee. I was most excited to see what the casket match would give us, but unfortunately, the casket match and the ambulance match, they have the same mini game. So, and it's the same mini game that you play whenever you put on a submission move. So I just think they're kind of like the same match with a different finish animation. So it really doesn't give me much in terms of difference in between these match types, but I do like the fact that you can interact with the casket in the casket match, like slam your opponents on the casket and things like that. I wish you could kind of drag it to maybe the Titantron area and finish it up there or something, but it is what it is. I'm still excited to have the match in the game because, again, I'm an Undertaker guy, and I'm sure it will improve in the future. The ambulance match, I do like that one as well because you can climb on top of the ambulance, throw your opponent off, just things like that. You can actually finish it backstage with the ambulance. So there's a lot they did with the matches to make them different, but I just don't like the mini game at the end being the same because it's really just not much of a difference there. It makes it feel like the same thing. Even if they gave you just like a different like UI or whatever for it, I thought that would have been fine, but I think it was a missed opportunity there. But overall, you know what, just minor complaints because they did get the match types in the game that we were asking for, so I'm excited to see them all, but I think they did what they needed to do with the special guest referee.
Agreed. Matt, let me know your thoughts, sir.
I'm a coin toss. I think it depends on the way the wind is blowing. If I go special ref or Gauntlet, My gut says I like Gauntlet more because more customization. So I'm looking at just because I need to remember. So the footage I have is like there's regular Gauntlet, which is traditional, Gauntlet Eliminator, and Gauntlet Turmoil. And all three of them. So it's technically like having three new match types in my head because they all do something different. And they all go from 4 to up to versus 30, which is wild because I thought if they ever did give me Gauntlet, I would get 1v4, 1v3 to 4 or 5 max, and they went to 30. So regular Gauntlet is regular Gauntlet. Eliminator is slobber knocker match essentially, Eliminator is it turns into like a Royal Rumble. So if you don't beat the first person in time, the next person enters and the clock hits up to 8 people in the ring, and you got to do pins and submissions or like first blood, or finishers only. So you get more customization there. And then Turmoil is like slobber knocker up to 30, and one person beat them, go to the next. But if you lose, match is over. So they each have a little stipulation. Plus, you can create all the custom match rules for it. It gives it such dynamic, and I'm a big fan. I just like elimination matches. I think they give more depth and they make things more intriguing. Plus, you can do title matches. Plus, you can do double title. Plus, you can do money in the bank briefcase. And it's in universe. So yeah, Gauntlet for me is so much fun. The camera angles change for people that come down. You can see them. Blood is enhanced, makes it deeper. The animation for your player, the deeper you get in the Gauntlet, the more worn they will look and behave. So they will be like hunched over and then be like, all right, come on, mother effer.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. And they're just dripping in sweat and blood. You can make them no DQ. There's so much in there. And then, yeah, special ref is like right on par because it's special ref and it's fun.
Yeah. Before we jump off of that, I love that as well. How they can they show the wear and also that they have different selling animations on the ground now. I think those are nice touches.
I do agree. I think, and to get away from that match type a little bit, the special referee match, and shout out to Matt for this. Y'all could go watch his breakdown and see exactly what I watched. It's great detail in that match. They have everything down to the T, and I like how you can ignore the rope breaks. You can count if they're on by the turnbuckle. There's a turnbuckle meter letting you know, hey, this turnbuckle was exposed. You got to fix that. There's a lot that they did that is good, and I know that that there's another mode for the special ref that basically you have all the freedom in the world, correct?
Yeah, it's in the options before you set up the match type. So you can go in and just hit options like you would and tweak it how you will. And then you could be like, I forget what the term is, but you tweak your options and it will turn that off. So you can be just a nasty ref and there's no repercussions. You won't get ejected. Or you can leave it on and play it clean and, see if you can make your way through it without damaging somebody too much and get ejected.
Right. And Jeremy, once again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Gauntlet will be awesome. Championship Gauntlet will be cool. Yes, I'm excited for the Championship Gauntlet. And thank you again, Red Eye Obsolete, for the $10 super chat. I'm not a fan of the victory motion for Undertaker for the casket match, but that is a small problem. Not so big, but I like your guys' thoughts on that. Seems like everybody has the same victory motion over the casket, right?
It is. Yeah, I did Gunther in a casket, and it was Gunther did the same motion. So it seems like they got one motion for it, and that's disappointing. You want like an authentic Undertaker motion, or put in like that as like an Easter egg, right? Like, oh, if you were gonna play as Undertaker or Kane, you're gonna get a really cool animation, and everyone else gets a generic.
Yeah. Even if just for those two, I would have been happy with that because Undertaker deserves his own outro for that.
Yeah, I do agree. And another $5 super chat. Regardless of my feelings, thank you for putting this on, fellas. Pops for your content. Yes, sir. Thank you to these beautiful gentlemen over here hopping on with me, talking about the game. But yeah, you guys, there is over 400 people in here. Very hard to believe. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It's not hard to believe, man. You've been cooking. Take it in.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. But y'all make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. So yeah, man, I'm just here trying to finish my story at this point. But
your story, Brian.
But we're gonna get into it from that Rock promo in just a second, if we have enough time here. But we're gonna talk about, guys, the MyGM improvements. We're gonna talk about the mode. how do you guys feel about this mode? I'm gonna tell you my thoughts real quick because I don't play my GM that much. Personally, with my GM, I'm inclined to play this year. It seems like that mode is the one that's getting all the upgrades, all the love. The trade feature, everything looks pretty awesome. And Demi, I appreciate that $1.99 super chat. I will get to your question in a second, but it does look cool. I think the My GM mode is going to be the one with the most replayability this year. Now, Kenny, give me your thoughts on the My GM mode.
I have not touched my GM mode, and honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. I don't plan on it. Maybe I'll get in there and look at it, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's my thing.
Yeah. Okay. I can't
I don't
hate
know what
on
to
it.
tell you.
I can't hate on it, but Matt, you played this mode, sir. Let me know what you think about the mode.
It's the one I'm excited for this year, but I totally understand
Wow.
Kenny's side because because it's not for everybody. And I see comments like that too. People are like, I don't want to manage contracts and it's too much. Brian, you said similar things. You're like, I don't know. I don't want to get in there and like manage roster management and things like that. I
Yeah.
just want to play or custom universe. But that's the fun part, right? It's like, okay, you can go to universe. We'll talk about that. But you got, if you want the alternative, and if you do play my GM, there's way more here, and it's so much more revamped and more fun. And the big thing I think is that it's organized better. They streamlined stuff. They made the HUDs and the UIs better and cleaner. Progression makes more sense. I know, like Brian, you said to me, you're like, I don't like getting like achievements. Like
Yes,
I
the
don't want to have to do
goal-driven
that.
stuff. I hate, yeah.
And I get that. I
What?
totally
You
get
don't like
that.
the goal-driven stuff?
No, and I'll tell you why real
That's
quick.
it
I
for me.
hate. I don't mean to interrupt you, Matt, but listen, the reason why I don't like the go driven stuff is because I don't know what it's based off, man. Like I feel like the computer be all like I feel like I put on some great matches on my GM. I'll get out the match and it was low rated, and it's like, dog, are you serious right now?
Yeah. I think that's fixed this year, honestly, because it's not just the class system. I asked the dev for it, Tyson, and he was like, no, now you got popularity, and it's going to impact the match rating too, and as well as your perks. There's more components to it that are going to determine how well your match is performing and your card is. So, I mean, and again, let's see next week when we all play and go, is it actually working the way we want it to, or are they advertise? Because that is my hope. I don't like the class system whatsoever. I don't like fighting a cruiser and a giant just so that I can get a good match. It breaks the whole experience. But now I really don't have to worry about that because I'm going to get stars that are more popular and keep upping their popularity. So if I get Tiffany Stratton super popular, that's going to mean she's going to put on banger matches and my ratings will go up and I'll earn more money and it's less to worry about. So my GM for me, very exciting because I see that it got a lot of attention and they address for me a lot of the things that I had problems with. It's not perfect. I think that keeping it limited to up to 4 players, I'm like, why can't we get an elimination chamber? I think, like Kenny said, I wonder if last gen is holding it back. They can't move forward. I'm sure it's what they want to do. Trades are awesome. It's fun. More contract management, so you can actually determine instead of 5-week contract to like book them for 2 years. Do you want to run with them for 2 years? You can. Just the one thing they're missing is do a rumble in my calendar, do an elimination chamber. It's part of WWE. If they have those, I'm really not complaining because that's what WWE does. They're just missing the Rumble Chamber Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Question. So in my GM, like Matt, you said you can earn more money. Does the money stay in that mode for you to like do different contracts and stuff, or is there something else you could do with the money you get in there?
Yeah, so based on your shows every week, you put on good shows, and you get your star ratings. How well it does increases your budget overall. So you get like 100 grand, and then the next week you might got 150 grand. You can use that money to then upgrade your show. So if you want to go from in a small venue, now you can, they changed it this year, but like you can do that and unlock the next tier and get a larger stadium show. And that will always then be your default. So what they've done, guys, is in last year, Kenny, what they did was every week you would have to like pick your show, pick the advertising, pick the venue, and it would cost you money every time you did that. So people are like, whatever, I'll just fight in a gym because it costs $50.
Right.
But now, once you unlock that tier, it stays at that tier the whole time. So you don't have to put money into that. That's your show. And then, yeah, you can focus on, all right, well, I'm going to buy a big Legends contract and use my cash there. or just save it up. So there's more freedom. There's better ways of using your cash in the game. You can buy perks as well with them. So getting the perks to unlock stuff. There's one other thing they did, which is fun. When you're setting up My GM the first time, you have the options to play it basically unlocked or locked for match types. If you play it locked, it means that you will progressively earn more match types become available.
That's
So
cool.
you will start off with limited stuff like one-on-ones and tags, but no real big specialty matches. And the better you do over time, they'll be like, here's a reward. Now you can do a casket match, and then you can do special ref. Or you could just go in, start your draft, and be like, unlock everything. I want all my stuff. And they're like, cool, you can do that. So
Cool.
That's
So,
cool.
Bobcat, I appreciate the super chat as well. Good afternoon, my boy. Did they fix Bailey's forehead? If not, it
Yes.
will be a new arena to use. Yes, they fixed her
They did.
forehead. Appreciate the super chat.
Yeah,
Jeremy
it's
with another
better.
super
Better
chat.
than it was.
Yes, I do agree with that. Way better. Jeremy, I didn't like how we couldn't purchase Angle and RVD. What you mean? They were in the game last year. What do you mean by that, sir? But yes, so My GM, I'm also, like I said before, I'm excited for the trade feature. I hope that there is that it works well behind, because I know that the trade feature can be a little tricky, because it's like you also want to make it balanced to the point where you just can't trade BS for a star. You know what I'm saying? So it can get tricky when it comes to that feature, in my opinion.
It can, Brian. I tested it a couple of times, and it seemed to work fine. At
Okay.
least my time with it. But I get what you're saying. At least from what I played, I can't just trick it. I think it's probably in the AI is like, well, I'm not going to take a 52 overall and 10 grand, because they're
Right.
going to look at what class is the wrestler, the popularity, all of the statistics of the wrestler that
That's
you're
good.
trying to get, and play with it that way. I hope it's that way, because yeah, like you said, I don't want to be able to just screw with it and be like, here's 250s overall
Yeah,
and
give me
$5
John
grand, and they're
Cena.
like, sure, and I get John Cena.
But yeah, no, I think My GM is gonna be a good one. But guys, the universe mode, the infamous universe mode, huh? So, a lot of people watched that video for myself.
Hurts my butthole, Kenny.
But you guys saw how I felt about it. Those that have watched that
Mhm.
video, you guys saw Matt's video. Kenny, did you upload a universe mode video? I know you don't really play
didn't.
universe like that. Okay,
Nope,
you
I
did
didn't,
not.
because I mean
He doesn't
everybody
play anything. He's like, I'm not doing none of this.
just my rise showcase
My
for me
rise.
previously.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in universe mode this year though. I'm gonna try
yeah.
it.
So, so let's go on ahead. Start with Matt. How do you feel about universe mode this year? I guess our thoughts are pretty much known, but for the people in here that don't know, how do you feel about it?
I think it's average. I think it's got a little bit more polish. As I've sat on it more, and again, I want to see what the final version and what gets patched this year. My tune might change, but I don't think they'll change much. It feels like 2K23 universe mode 2.0, where it's like, if we got things are in there that like almost would have been patched in 23 that we got now. They've added more cutscenes. That's great. It's a little bit more dynamic that way. Runs very smoothly. It's just the same as 23 with more cutscenes and more options that way for rivalry actions. Double title matches are in there. The referee glitch is fixed, and that's it. So even I played through it, and I'm like, all right, I know exactly what I'm getting here, and there is no one hook where I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Which would be, to me, that would be like promos. If they had a promo match option where sub out a match, insert promo, pick 3 to 5 generic promo cutscenes that you can do, nothing crazy in
Yeah.
depth, basics. If they had that, I would have gone from it's average to good or really good. You know, it would have really spiked me up to be like, every universe mode is largely the same. You're going to get a few more cutscenes. Everything's more stable. But the big highlight is they did give you promos. And that really changes the dynamic of the whole thing in your show design. Because we don't have anything like that, I'm like, it's just the same as last year. A new coat of paint looks wonderful, but there's not a lot of depth. It's the same. It's got a couple of new cutscene drop downs that you're going to pick. So I think it's very fine because nothing's different. It's like you could turn
Yeah.
on 23 and be like, okay, the UI is like it literally looks like it's just a coat of paint.
Yeah, I must agree. I think the only thing that really stood out for me this year, and it's really not supposed to stand out, is that based on what everybody was saying about universe mode, it works.
Yes.
So by working, I mean there are tons of stuff last year. If you played universe mode, you know that things were buggy. There's certain things that you stayed away from because they weren't going to work as well. So it seems like it works this year, and that's cool that it's polished. For me, it was, like you said, the promos. And I know the draft is basically locked behind my GM, but I would have loved to see a universe mode draft. It's been like 3 or 4 years that they've already been doing the draft, so it would have been cool to see. Kenny, I know you
Yes,
don't play
sir.
Universe, but based on what you've seen and what you've heard, what are your thoughts on Universe?
So yeah, I haven't played Universe since 12. So
Wow.
I see everybody mad and upset about what's going on this year in Universe. I really don't care because I am excited to get in there and test it out this year because you guys have been telling me about it and it sounds like a fun mode, but I didn't play last year, so it's not going to be the same to me because this is the first time I'll be touching it. So I'm excited to see what they have at this point opposed to what they had in 12. But Matt mentioned the UI being the same. That is one thing I really don't like. Like, if you look at the game, for me, I don't know what it is, but the presentation is really big for me, like the character selection screens, the title menu. So I hate that when you get in there in 2K24, it looks the same as 2K23. It makes it feel like the same game for me. So that's one thing I'm not excited about. But as far as universe mode, first time in there in a very long time. So I'm excited to see what they've been cooking up over the years.
I must agree with you. And Jeremy, once again, appreciate the super chat. Universe mode needs more championship cutscenes. Matt, you seen some of the cutscenes that are in the game. Do you think they added a substantial amount of cutscenes, or was it just a couple more?
I didn't have enough time to go through in depth of like everything because it is a mix of the old ones and new ones based on the categories you're picking, like to do an action. I'm just trying to. I'm scrolling through footage right now. So like provoked attack, hostile opener,
Yep.
revenge attacks. Those are all like the subcategories where I'm trying to look at where's the main ones. But my point is that within each thing you're going to do, whether it's a disrespect, ambush, attack, brawl, reversal, distraction, teamwork, sportsmanship, fallout, and there's money in the bank and a few more. Oh, there's more. There's like another like 6 or 8. So like I didn't have enough time to go through every single one and really dissect it. But looking at it right now, there's like fallout, injured dropout, surprise replacement, cowards replacement. They've added probably 8 new categories. And then within that, there's going to be sub options within the category to pick. So yeah, a healthy mix. They probably doubled it is what I would say from from 2K23. It seems like it. And how diverse those are, I don't know. We'll find out when we all play and if they're really fun or not. I agree, Jeremy's point. You want more like title specific cutscenes. You want to be able to say wrestlers in the ring with the belt doing a promo gets interrupted. We got little things like that of like do the come down the ramp and hit the guy with the title belt, but you need more options. The big one for me, guys, playing like Kenny's like I don't play universe mode. But I know for Brian it's a big deal, and I think we've both talked about this. The PLE schedule.
Yes.
It's a small detail, but it's a detail that it's on Sundays. It's still posted as Sundays, and that tells me it's not feasible or easy for them to do it, or it's missed. And I kind of think it's one or the other. Either it's too much work to move that and recode that so that it goes to Saturday and not Sunday.
I agree.
If that's too much work, that could be the case. Or it is something they just went, ooh, whoops, we dropped the ball there because it's not authentic. I thought that was a huge miss where I'm like, okay, not only does it feel very much like last year with a couple extra cutscenes, but like we don't even have the correct calendar layout.
Yeah,
for what WWE programming does. I'm kind of like, really, like, come on, like, unless there's some big development issue with like trying to do that, and I can't defend that.
Yeah, I think we give them a pass.
I'm the 2K apologist, and I can't apologize.
Yeah, I think we give them a pass too much, saying it's too much work. Because if they're gonna sell us a game every year, then they need to put the work in to make those type of updates. It's 2K24, right? In 2K24, these PLEs are on Saturdays, so I don't know what it takes to get that done, but I think that's something you need to get done.
I think that should be patched in, and I would vocalize that as much as I could, and I think other people would too, and be like, hey, if you guys can do a patch at launch or right like as soon as it gets going, that is something I would hope they would look at closely and go, can we get this out within the next 2 to 3 months while we have players playing, and let them know that we're gonna do this, like we're gonna fix this. Because again, on one hand you're like, oh, but you didn't give me promos, so F you, and you go, sure, but that's something where I'm like, flip the calendar date. Make your existing audience, make Brian happy.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think more like we've been having Saturday pay-per-views for what, 2-3 years now?
Yeah.
Like it's been a while. It might have been over 3 years. But I think with the 2-day WrestleMania stuff like that is like, dude, how don't you get that in there? And it's like, you have a good point, Matt. It may be very much in the coding that they've had. It wouldn't surprise me if it's been since the beginning of Universe Mode over a decade ago, because to me it looks like it's kind of just stuck and there is no other way for them to go. So my point with that is, if it is that much work, just give us the Universe Mode elements in my GM and just rip Universe Mode away and give us something new. If it is that much work, because at that point I get it, it's a yearly release, but it almost seems like there's no effort being put in, and I don't want to accuse them of that because I know that they obviously work hard on their game. But stuff like that is like, whoa, like we're missing out on this. And yes, we pay for this. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Actually, I know about Kenny because he made a video on this, but I paid $130 with tax for the WrestleMania edition. And Matt, which edition are you getting?
100. I'm buying it, dude. I buy it twice because I want to do it for content on
Same
PC,
here.
and then I buy it for like PlayStation. And I got the PC one. It's $180 Canadian.
Oh boy.
It's a lot of money, and I haven't even bought a My Faction thing yet. So yeah, and like I didn't get copies. I'm buying the game like every year. It's a lot, and I agree, Brian. Like, I look at my GM this year and the direction they seem to be going in, and I could just, as a fan, I'm just like, dude, get rid of Universe Mode and dump all the assets and everything into my GM because that's your system. You've baked that. Double, triple down on it and give us the customization in my GM, and we're done.
Yeah,
because it has everything else. My GM has. You're like, I want to draft in Universe Mode. It's over
in
here.
my GM.
Yeah. I want this. I want to manage contract. It's over here. Give me a full roster access instead of like the my GM condensed one. We have custom GM, so you can pick that. It just customer. Can I pick a custom arena, please? Check.
Yeah.
I need that, and I need to dump in actual cutscenes. My GM has tag team promos, so people are like, we're all like, man, we need promos in Universe Mode. I'm like, technically, my GM has promos.
They don't have the cutscene though.
They have a promo. I don't have a cutscene, but I have a promo option.
So that's definitely interesting the way that they're going with that. And Jeremy and Aaron, I do appreciate the super chats as well. Again, I appreciate it, boys. Thank you. But Universe Mode this year. I hate to say it, but it looks very copy and paste aside from the cutscenes. And I love the fact that the match types are in Universe Mode. That's really good that it made it in there. I know for my GM mode, the Royal Rumble is still not in there, and the Elimination Chamber is still not in there, and Money in the Bank. So basically, like some of like the big events are still not in my GM, right?
Yeah, because they can't do, or they haven't been able to do 5+ people matches. Like Gauntlet's not in there.
Right. Okay.
I took a double take and I was like, because I just assumed I saw it, and I was like, oh no, it's not. They put a no holds barred match in, but you can't do a Gauntlet.
Yeah. And if the code is 10 years old, I mean, to be fair, they could be working on a whole new Universe Mode in the background, just over the years building and working on that. And we get the kind of gameplay improvements this year, like the quality of life adjustments. Next year, maybe they throw out that new Universe Mode that they've been cooking up in the background. So, I mean, it's possible. That's why we get minor adjustments, because they are working on something new. But I mean, right now we got what we got. So that's all we can really judge them on.
Yep. I do agree with that. Yeah, it's definitely a case of we don't know what's going to happen in the near future. Hopefully, I want to think that it's the last generation consoles holding them back. And for those who are still on Xbox One and PS4, this is nothing against you. But I really do think that that's what's holding them back, if I'm being honest. Because if you look at both games and you look at like the PC version, which is based on the last generation of consoles, technically, like I don't even notice the difference between my PC version and my Xbox Series X version, if I'm being
Same.
honest. So they look pretty much identical. And I thought the one thing that they did differently last year was that the War Games wasn't on last generation, but turns out it was. So it wasn't like um it wasn't like an Xbox Series X and PS5 exclusive. It was just a thing that every console got. So they really haven't given people a reason to want to go on ahead and upgrade to the next console. So
Yeah. But
I
that's
think
kind of scary too, though, because you remember what happened from 14 to 15 when they jumped forward to the next generation,
yeah.
kind of stripped everything.
I will
So
say
if we jump forward again.
yeah, I will say this about that though. I think that um this is a good thing that last generation consoles and this new generation of consoles can kind of get the same features, because I don't think we'll ever see anything like 2K15 happen again once we get to like the PS6, because that's was my big scare. Like, okay, they're adding all of this now. We're getting casket, gauntlet, special ref. What happens 4 years from now when we get a new console? And they're like, all right, we're gonna have to strip everything, guys. But based on what happened with the Series X and the PS5, I just don't see that happening. Matt, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, same as you guys. I think that they need to move away from it. It's probably holding them back in some regard because we're already going to get into PS6 and whatever next Xbox Cloud thingy they're going to do
Yeah.
in a matter. It's just a
No,
matter
not
of time.
Xbox Cloud. Don't say that.
I
We're
mean,
getting another console.
yeah, I hope for a console. But yeah, I'm same as you guys. I think you gotta eventually bite the bullet. But I get it. Their install base on PS4, Xbox is probably massive. Why would you lose that revenue unless you get like it might be only when we see PS6 out in the wild and PS5s are the standard, and then they go, okay, now we're gonna be PS5 and PS6, and that's
Yeah.
the cycle because they don't want to lose that player base. The
Yeah.
install base for PS4 and the amount of comments like I see of people being like, I'm getting this on PS4 and it still works. I'm like, yeah, that console still works. And so many companies still support it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That
it's gonna be until they get the next generation. I feel then they'll bite the bullet. They'll cut it.
yeah.
And
Okay.
then we're going to be dealing with PS5 generation holding it back. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
we'll never be current.
I think it's always gonna be a thing. But I think, guys, the last topic we've pretty much talked about every mode. We've talked about the match types. I think the topic that we have to talk about here, just to get some people's thoughts, is the DLC topic. So let's go on ahead and get into that. How do you guys feel about the DLC? Go on ahead, Kenny. Let me know.
I'm impressed. They nailed it. I don't know about the Pat McAfee pack, but getting CM Punk and Jade Cargill in there, that's a big statement. Like, they want this game to be good, they want it to be current, and they're actually putting everything into this one, opposed to holding it off until 2K25, because they could have kind of sold those 2 stars as the big thing that they're adding in 25. But you know what? They came in here recently and they got them in the game, so I can't say anything negative about the DLC packs at all, besides the Pat McAfee stuff again. But other than that, I think it's really good.
I do agree. Matt, what are your thoughts on the DLC, sir?
The hell are playable co-hosts? Like, what the hell is
Yeah,
that
it's
even
crazy.
mean?
I don't know neither.
I don't even know those guys.
I know. It's like, well, we're bringing in his friends. I do not know this man. Not a wrestler. I do not know. I think
I
it's
paid
Tyler
for
Kenny.
him.
I know. And I'm gonna pay for him anyways. Give him a pile driver. I don't know. I'm same as Kenny. I think the DLC is very much a win. I think it's subjective. People are gonna say this is good, this is bad. Not enough legends, too many legends, not enough NXT, not enough women, not enough men. It's everyone's gonna have something they go, it's not. But I think this year they got a very good balance, because my complaint last year was way too much NXT and not enough legends. Well,
Yeah.
there's a whole legends pack, and pack 4 is current talent, and then the Pat thing, and then you got 2 other packs that are like more legend heavy, especially the Jade and Punk kind of spearheading, headlining the other packs. Yeah, I think overall, I'm like, as someone who's bought the game, it's pre-ordered, I am happy. I think it's a great balance, and I think I got my money's worth, except for Pat McAfee pack, because I don't know what the hell I'm buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want D'Lo Brown And I'm probably never going to happen, but give me Val Venus too.
Yeah, those
Same
would be
old gimmick. Don't
those
strip
would
it
be
down and
dope.
water it down at all.
Those would be dope. But I think the Pat McAfee was literally like just something for a buffer. Like they were like, all right, we can't go this many months without DLC. Let's just give them this. But this, respectfully, is a garbage decision because you're gonna have me.
Oh, we
waiting.
don't know, Brian. We don't know. It could be a garbage decision, though.
Yeah, playable co-host. I don't know.
I don't know. And like they're gonna go untouched for me if I'm being honest. Then you have all right, so you have the ECW Punk pack, which I think is a great pack. I think this is awesome. The fact that they got Punk in for the first pack, I think is really impressive. I can't hate on them for that.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the Post Malone and Friends pack. Call me uncultured. Call me whatever you want to call me.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not happy with this pack, bruh. I'm just not. I mean, no, I'm not, because I'm not gonna play with Post Malone. And call me uncultured if you want. I don't know who Sensational Sherry is. I'll just be honest. I'll just go out there and say that. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, you were born in 2015.
I was born in I was born in 02. Chill on me.
2015.
But Martian Thrasher, come on, man. I'm glad to see them two back in there. At least.
It's just a whole bunch of stuff I don't know. Honky Tonk Man and Jimmy Hart. I like that. But yeah, nah, it's whatever.
He's mad because he's young. He doesn't know about the headband.
He doesn't know.
Don't get on me, chat. But listen, I'm just being honest, bro. I'm speaking for the younger generation.
Fair enough.
But let's see here, guys. The Global Stars pack. I think this is my favorite pack, bro.
Yeah.
I think having Punk in there is cool, but this is my favorite all-around pack. How do you guys feel about this Global Superstars pack?
Michelle.
Jade Card. I think. Who else is in there? Yeah.
Michelle.
You got Jade, Michelle. I don't know. I want previous gimmick Carlito though. So they're probably gonna bring current Carlito in.
That's your hang up. That's your issue.
Kyrie Sane's cool.
With this whole pack.
Current Carlito. That's his. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they gave him that gimmick. But yeah. And Demi, I am so sorry for missing your question, but thank you so much for the super chat. My faction attires and other game modes. Question mark. My question got skipped. Yes, that is something that is gonna happen. Persona cards and things like that will be happening. Just so you are aware. And yeah, guys, and the WCW pack, November 13th. I'm excited for this pack. Just sucks that we're gonna have to wait till November, and I do have a follow-up question about you guys. But how do you guys feel about the WCW pack? I think this is a good one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was never. Go ahead, Matt.
No, it's just I'm with you. I think I love that pack because I think it just rounds out the Legends side. I'm excited for Luger and Mr. Perfect especially. DDP has been like, I just feel like he's one of those guys that I'm like, wasn't he in this year? Wasn't he in the year before? He's just that guy where I'm like, I always thought he was in the game, and then people are like, no, dummy, it's been years. Sheik, I figured. Muda, wonderful. I just think it's a great pack. I think it's just solid. It's not with like one random slot or a manager in there. They're giving you 5 wrestlers. Kenny, why? You're like, I don't like this.
No. I don't say I don't like it. I wasn't a WCW kid growing up, but Diamond Dallas Page was one of the guys I liked over there. Just like Chris Jericho. Iron Sheik, I'm not super familiar with him. Of course, I know who he is, but I mean, it's cool to have him in. He just passed away. RIP. His Twitter is hilarious. Mr. Perfect, great. I think he should be in every game. And Lex Luger is another one I'm excited about. I know a lot of people were excited about Great Muta as well. He's a Japanese wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So shouts out to him. I think he came up with the Mist stuff, but yeah, not super familiar with him either.
Yeah.
But it's a good pack overall.
I'm not familiar with him myself, but I am excited to see Mr. Perfect in a WWE game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that young. You know, I went back and seen some wrestling matches, but
in the archives.
I like Diamond Dallas Page. I like the fact that Iron Sheik is in. And Lex Luger, that's a good one too. Hopefully they don't do Cody Rhodes like Lex Luger, because we're about to get into some WWE talk in a second, fellas.
Oh, we talking WWE
too? Just the promo. If Matt and Kenny have a little bit of time for me.
I got the time. I don't know if Matt got the time, but you know me. I got the time.
But I know that we wanted to talk about a little bit of the promo. But before we get into that, let me see if the chat just has any questions for us. Just regarding just the game. I'll take just a couple questions for us, guys. We can
As
talk
you're
about
doing
the
that,
game.
Brian,
Yeah.
I'll give some quick bullet points for the game that I can, anyways,
Yeah.
that like people clarify. So we talked about the ring announcers. We confirmed the clarification on that. Blood dripping in the mat on the mat is in fact there. I didn't have it show up for me in matches because I didn't do enough damage. I was told
Mhm.
that, oh, it's all there. There's like 3 levels to blood damage in the effect. So by the time you get to like level 3 and it's super high, and Kenny's like, that's where I see like all his bruising and different variations. That's where it happens, and then you get the blood effect on the mat. Royal Rumble match we've talked about, but you can do title matches in there for the Rumble, which is amazing. Double title matches, pyro for the WrestleMania sign. You can point at the pyro, it will go off, or point at the sign, the pyro will go off, and you could do that in any arena for the Rumble too. So just some quick ones of just the quality of life stuff is awesome.
Yeah, I do agree. I must
I
agree
got a
with
question
the.
for y'all.
Go ahead.
We know the ratings are crazy this year, right? But
Oh
you
yeah.
can use the thing to boost them up. How do
Mhm.
y'all feel about the wrestlers under 85 not being able to use resiliency?
I think.
Because I think with the
Yeah.
addition of super finishers, kind of a, not a great thing. Well, the super finishers wash away resiliency, right?
Yes, they do.
So I guess it's fine in that case. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I,
Like Big E is under 85 and he used to be a WWE champion, so he can't use resiliency.
I
So I
think it
think that's
should be
kind of strange.
higher. I think it should be higher than 85.
You think he should be?
No,
Well, I think he's like a
I think the resiliency factor should be higher. I think the main eventers should really have that.
so like 90.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
Kurt
what they're
Angle
trying to
can't use it, but
do.
Logan Paul can.
But that's the issue, right? Is like then we
Yeah.
get into the
Then we get
nitty
into the
gritty of like, well,
ratings.
wait. Then Kurt Angle, why is Kurt Angle not a 91,
Exactly.
Yeah.
or a 93? And I think that's more the issue because I'm with Brian. I think that super finishers should be for top tier my main event guys,
Yeah.
and they only have a couple. You can assign them to anybody, but you got to have that rating. So I
Yeah.
think that it's more of the issue is the ratings they gave people like Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, right? Because they didn't get the ratings right. So the 85 for resiliency thing could be cool if the ratings made sense to me, but looking at everybody's ratings, they're just all over the place and I don't get it. But
Yes, I must agree. And sorry if I went out midway. I just had to get up and stretch.
I thought you left it. Me and
But
Matt were going to take it over.
yeah, I just had to get a stretch, get my back right. But yeah, I think the ratings is a little bit. It seems like they're trying to redo them. That's basically what they
Yeah.
got across, right? Like they're trying to just start.
Mhm.
Like I saw people all the way down in the 60s, bro. I was like, wow. I don't think anybody was below 70 last year. I thought the lowest I saw was like 72 or 73. But yeah, it looks this year like they're trying to do some stuff for the resiliency. I think that's fine with me. I just think that you got to make the ratings make sense if you're gonna if you that's the route that you're gonna go. And I think next year should be 90 overall and higher for resiliency. I think, like I said, main eventers should have it. You rarely see in a regular match on Raw somebody kick out of a finisher.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So those are just my 2 cents for that. But um, just some questions. The longer the match, the more you see around the ring. Let's see here. Oh, Matt, just a quick question I had for you about the game with the camera angles. And being able to control the camera. How cool was that? Like, do you have like full freedom in terms of producing your own match in terms of camera angles and shots that you want?
Yeah, you have complete freedom. And then if you do things like a gauntlet match, or Rumble, total freedom. You can go right up to the ramp when the next person's going to come in and they do their pose and all of that. You have complete control like you would in highlight reel. Um, and the button layout is easy to use for adjusting and panning and all of that. You can get really cool shots. You can make it feel like, and you can save camera angles. So if you always want to have a shot of the whatever, one of the turnbuckles like the camera does in tag matches now,
Yeah.
WWE's on the turnbuckle. Yep, you could save that as a prompt. So that could be one of your camera angles. You could have one from the floor, the crowd, and you could have 4, but it might be 8, up to 8 because it depends on the buttons. No, I think it's 4 for the D-pad
Interesting.
for sure.
Okay.
That you can set up and save them and change them any way you want. I had so much fun with that because I'm watching an AI match and I'm just zooming around the arena. I'm watching stuff. I'm doing it from the crowd. It made it so much fun to just watch and chill out with it, and then hit pause, jump into the match, and then I'm gonna play as a special ref myself. So flipping, it just adds a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more character to it, where now I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna flip in and out of the match how I see fit. I think for content creation, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
just even that ramp toggle of go in the options menu and change it to ramp, look at it that way, throws you off a little bit. And yeah, I love it. It's great for the
Yeah.
Rumble. It's great to see entrances. It's
Can you
such a
control the
win.
camera during like the entrances?
No.
Okay.
So
Are you?
that's the one thing I can't remember if I tried that or not, because I was able to see like their entrance motion, but for like an AI match, I don't think so. It'll
Okay.
just do, yeah, it'll just do the regular entrances as you see, even an AI match. But if you do like a Rumble or Gauntlet and they do come out, then you're free range. You can get in there.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
That's what I want though. That's the next thing, is like do a AI match and have free range of the camera. So as they're about to do AJ Styles entrance, I want to get in there and zoom and get like crazy shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
that's the only thing they don't have. So, but yeah, cameras, total win. Total win.
Yeah. But I do love, again, I gotta say another thing I do love is that ramp facing camera
That's
during the match. I
awesome.
can't wait to test that out.
I can't wait to play with it in Showcase, bro, and see all the beautiful WrestleMania stages in the background. I think that's gonna be.
They do that with the
that's gonna be
slingshot
awesome.
mechanic.
Yeah, they do it with the slingshot mechanic. You can kind of see it, but with the WrestleMania stuff being right behind you, and for the WrestleMania 20, Eddie and Kurt, I think that's gonna be awesome too. Seeing both of the stuff back there, Madison Square Garden. I'm just so excited to play this game, bro. Nobody can really like tell me like, bro, this game gonna be trash. Like, nah, this game, I'm excited to play it, bro. I'll find out for myself if it's gonna be trash, but my excitement isn't gonna be leveled. But Matt, before we go into WWE talk, I have one last question for you, and I think the chat, I saw somebody say it in the chat. Did you get to play a tag team match?
No.
Okay,
That's just not me. It was there.
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
Gotcha. Okay, understand. Because I did see on Twitter certain things. I don't know. I don't want to get into the details of it if it hasn't been spoken from a dev. But I think I saw something from a developer where they said, like tag team matches, not everybody's gonna be able to get in matches and break up the pin and stuff like that after a while. Which I think that was a huge problem with my faction. If you guys played my faction, the 4v4 matches, oh
Nasty.
boy. That's the thing is crazy, but go ahead.
No, that I didn't play tag matches, but speaking with the developers at the event, they did touch on multi-man matches to me, like tags and 4-on-4 and things. And at that, I didn't play any tag matches because I just assumed like, it's all the same. They mentioned to me that for gameplay, it's no secret that they revamped things and they made it's more fluid now if you're going to do multi-man or tag team matches, and the breakups make more sense. Pin attempts, the AI is a little bit smarter with it, and that would play into my faction when you're doing those 4v4. The screenshots we've seen online that were posted for gameplay, those are the new things that you can do now, where it's like you have the freedom and control to grab a table, to prompt and command someone to grab a table, to break up a pin, to interact better and do smarter things. The one thing I need this to evolve into, and you probably heard me say it, is now they have like the tag team D-pad options, right? Go down, you're gonna press that, and he's gonna go down, he's gonna grab a table and set it up. I can't wait to do a 3D through it, Kenny. I can't.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
That's gonna be awesome. Being able to control that, can't wait.
But the thing I
tables.
want them to do, and I know it's a payback, but it's not the same deal. I want to press up on the D-pad in a match and have a run-in. Either I select who the ally is and they come in, or I just press and hold up on D-pad in a one-on-one match, and then whoever my ally is, my top ally, runs in.
Right.
That's one thing I want. I know everyone will tell me, well, it's a payback. I'm like, not everyone has it. You don't add that as a payback to everybody unless you go and manually do it. So I think the tag team thing is awesome. I like tag matches, but same as you guys, it's a grind. They never end. And then they're always ending the same way for you, where you're like, okay, I got to beat this one man down. Now go and bump him off the ropes.
Bump him off the ropes,
Go get my 3 count. I win, and it's over.
I think this is gonna be more fun though. Like, I'm more inclined to play tag team matches with them adding little details here and there, and again, quality of life, being able to go tell somebody, get the tables or whatever the case. It's just gonna be some awesome stuff to really see in the game. And somebody had asked a question in the chat, Scorpions fan, and said, "Is this the final nail to the coffin on AEW Fight Forever?"
Kenny.
Kenny, go ahead.
Oh boy, we gotta get loaded in here. Yeah, AEW Fight Forever is done. Shouts out to everybody in the chat who was on that journey, but it's over with.
It's cooked. It's cooked. But
They just need to go back and work on a second game now because this one's done.
yeah, I must agree. It has a very negative perception around it.
Yeah.
Byron Cutler asked, "Can you put championships on the line in a Royal Rumble match?" Yes,
Yes.
you can.
Double.
You can do double.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just one championship.
No, sir.
Oh, that's
Double title
dope.
match for everything. Oh, the other one. And I said this in a tweet or something. Shout out to Brian Williams. He confirmed for me. I went, ladder matches.
Yeah.
You could do a one-on-one ladder match for 1 belt or 2 belts. They will grab the belts down for double title ladder matches.
There you guys
And
go.
it will apply to multi-man ladder matches, 1 title or 2. You can do both. You want a fatal 4-way title match for the ladder match with 2 belts, Kenny, you can do it.
It's a big W.
That's a huge
That's a big
W.
one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Those are the things I'm like, oh, that's cool that you did
Yeah.
that. They basically
Yeah.
unlocked title matches like for everything.
No, that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think now I'll be able to recreate my Randy Orton and John Cena match when they unified the titles a couple years back. So that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight forever. Fight forever's done. Sorry.
If
I'm just thinking about it. And I was like, I see them tweet about it, and I'm like, guys, I had hope. I wanted.
I think we all did, man. Like that.
We were all on your team.
Yeah, like it's just crazy with Fight Forever. Like, not to get into that subject too much, but like for me, like when I was starting out YouTube a year ago, I really had no direction. And then Fight Forever came around, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can make. And I remember talking to Matt before I knew Kenny around this time, and I had a couple videos take off with the Fight Forever stuff. So I was really hoping, like, okay, this is gonna be the game. Like, this is gonna be it.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be appreciative of Fight Forever because I feel like it really helped me get my name out there on the map. But it's just unfortunate to see it fall off like that.
Little Ronnie, sorry, Brian.
Yeah,
Little
go
Ronnie
ahead.
asked, "What about double tag titles?" I think that also applies. So if you want the both
Interesting.
tag championships in a ladder match, that
That'll just
should
have a red and
I
blue
say
one.
should also. Yeah, I think it should work because Brian told me multi-man ladder matches work. Did he say tag? Not that I remember, but I think it's implied.
Yeah. And somebody asked, if I buy WWE 2K24 Standard Edition, could I play 40 years of WrestleMania? Yes, you can.
That's a big one.
You know,
I get that question a lot.
I'll be honest, Matt. I think that was a marketing strategy, and I think they're good at what they do. I think the wording kind of throws it off, and it's like makes people think they can't play the showcase if they don't get the $120 edition. I think it's a marketing strategy.
Seriously, they say that a lot.
Yeah.
They go, wait, can I play this showcase mode, or is it locked to the 40 years because it's 40 years of WrestleMania? I understand the logic.
Yeah.
I'm just, wow, it's not just a one-off.
No,
like it's
yeah.
daily.
Yeah.
I agree. But one breakup per tag team, correct? Yes, Wesley. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's just Twitter talking. I don't know if it's Reddit talking. You know, I don't want to have 2K on me for it, talking about leaks or whatever the case is. At this point, I don't know what's leaked and what's, you know,